right, we're gonna try to catch up some time here, so I'm gonna be super rapid. So the first, this is the core of everything, is your single source of truth. However, I like to call it a single source of revenue truth, a SORT, when it comes to your revenue room. What it means, it's a centralized repository of all revenue-related data. It eliminates data silos, it creates a single view of the customer, and a single view of your sales. And when I say sales, it's the end-to-end through contract fulfillment, renewal, and even into product engagement. It goes well beyond the CRM. This is probably the thing that drives me crazy when I talk about a single source of revenue truth, and they say, well, we have Salesforce. Salesforce is one piece of the puzzle. So you need to look at ERP, financial systems, contract management, inventory, marketing platforms, customer support, product systems. And the reason why you need this is that if you don't have a single source of truth, you're probably not doing great forecasts, or you were spending a lot of time forecasting and reforecasting and spending times on pressure testing the pipeline with salespeople. Visibility, it's inconsistent. It creates a huge amount of revenue risk. You're always late to the game with trying to identify churn risk. You're also late to the game. I bring this up sometimes. When you have a single source of revenue truth, you're not only able to identify customer churn, in many cases, you actually can predict salesperson flight risk, which in the world of media sales can be deadly. It aligns the team. It allows you to align your teams, your revenue critical teams, up around one source of accurate, up-to-date, trustworthy information, and it really powers customer centricity. The costs of not having a single source of truth are huge: inefficient operations, unprofitable units, missed quota, revenue leakage, uncontrollable churn, very high customer acquisition, and customer retention costs. The outcomes you can expect if you invest in developing a single source of revenue truth is improved retention, profitable units, profitable customers, profitable products, channels, improved sales performance, improved contract outcomes, very precise forecasting that you can push with a button, not spreadsheets or reforecasting every week. And you can do improved cross-sell, upsell, expand, and you have a high revenue team retention. So these are, again, just pick two. Say I'm going to improve it by 5 points. If I have this, that would justify the cost. The steps you need to take to build your single source of revenue truth is, one, you need to have an executive sponsor and stakeholder team, and it is not your chief data officer. Apologies to chief data officers in the room. It is the business leader. You need to assess all the systems that feed customer data, and currently, are you using all the capabilities? Is it an old system that we're a prisoner to because everything is connected to it and we can't really do much more? The integration that you'll need once you implement it, but when implementation is not just having the data out, it is, what is the data telling you? What's the good data? What do I want to look at? How are we going to measure it? And not only how I'm going to measure what we want to do is, I'm going to measure, is that actually a return on investment? And if not, how do we pivot? And then if it is, how do we iterate and scale? So data integration and normalization best practices, which is required to do this, is standardization. If you have multiple CRMs or even I have customers that have Salesforce, but they have 7 instances of Salesforce due to acquisitions. If you are not calling pipeline stages the same thing, and you're not qualifying the stages by percent the same way, you can't do this. Or you do it manually. You have to have automation, and the automation is actually not just the automation of the dashboards, it's taking the data insights and activating them. How are they being pushed into workflows, and how are you monitoring that? So example, if there is I'll use the churn risk, my favorite one. If 3 of your 5 red flag churn are happening, what happens? Who's getting notified? What are the next steps? What's the process that you're following to mitigate that churn and then follow up? And quality control with the data. It's not enough to clean your data every year, right? First of all, that's like so time consuming, and you have to have quality control as an ongoing process, and you have to be able to scale what you're doing. So how to do that is you have to leverage technology, tools, and partners. One big question I like to is it to data lake or not data lake, right? There's a data warehouse, there's a thing as a data lake. Really, in this world, it's both. You need both. You need to know what the data is, like your structured data, your unstructured and semi-structured. So if you're using tools like Gong, which are, revenue intelligence from phone calls, for example, or emails, that's great, but then what are you doing with it? You have to have the analytics and visualization tools, and those need to be democratized across the business. You have to get this data all the way down to your most junior seller, your most junior marketer, so everyone's working around the same data, and those workflows are seamlessly taking place, and you're able to identify breaks in the process or not. Platform selection, again, you want to find you need the data warehouse, the data lake, the visualization tools, the analytics capabilities, and then when you start getting to machine learning and AI, how is that going to plug in? And then to security and governance. So establishing a robust data governance requires policies, compliance, quality assurance, and transparent stakeholders. And this is not just about like how we're protecting our customer data, it's how your salespeople, your marketers are entering and utilizing and keeping the data clean. It's compliance. Because if you don't have them operating on that, like they can't just make up and like, oh, let's go add another pipeline stage because we have our customer set doesn't buy that way. That can't happen. It'll mess up the whole thing. And you can't allow new fields, it has to be controlled. And then the last two are closed loop workflows, driving the revenue outcomes. So this is the, again, end-to-end, cross-functional. So let's say, again, you're aligning marketing with sales, with customer success. They should be looking at dashboards about how each one of those functions are impacting the other and how those are aligning to the shared KPIs. Automated triggers and alerts, and the last one is the measurement. So how are you measuring this and measuring what you're measuring? So is your forecast, if improving forecasting accuracy, because that will reduce the number of hours you are spending on that non-value-added task, because now you can actually forecast accurately with the push of a button. How is that impacting costs? How is that impacting revenue? If you are utilizing your single source of revenue truth for growth, right, and it's new business, how much new business have you gotten since you've activated these dashboards and your single source of truth? And just continuously evolve and build capabilities over time, and don't try to boil the ocean.